Hello, this is lecture 3 and we are going to work on the services. We worked on this as a welcome to my portfolio. We work on it during lecture 2 and this the header was also on lecture day 1. So if you missed it, just get back to the videos for lecture 1 and 2 and start from there. So let's not waste my time. Let's open our IDE, that's our text editor. So let's create a container for our services, and as you can see we have the heading, that's the my services, that's the heading, and we have the graphic design, that's the service itself, and each service has a caption, that's the name for the service. So this one we have web design, this one we have SEO optimization. So let's get back to our text editor. So let's create a container for our services. So we create a division tag and give it an ID of services. Okay, so after that let's create our heading. So you see each heading one, my services. Okay, so after that we will create our services. So before that, let's create a center tag that will align our services into the center of the parent container, that's the services itself. So let's create our center tag. Yeah, so this is our center tag. So after that, let's create our first service. So this will be our first service. The graphic design, that will be our first service. So let's create that one. So get back to our IDE. Let me see. Let's create service one. Yeah, service one. So each service has an image. So let's say, yeah, let's create an image tag and let's specify the source. So we say source equal to images. Our images are in the images folder. So we'll call the images folder and use the slash for navigating through the folder. So we say the first service is our graphic design. So we select that one. So after that, we give the let's specify the caption, or let's say is the title for the service. So we say let's use a heading 3 tag and say um, graphic design. Okay, so let's refresh it and see. So we have the first service here, have the first service, but because we've not applied any styles, that's why it's um, appearing this way. So let's get back and work on it. So let's go to our CSS file and start our service. Let's start the container first. So we call the container using the hashtag because we gave it an ID, and we use hashtag for selecting ID. So we say hashtag services. Okay, so let's give it a height of 120 pixels. Let's say height 120 pesos. I give this a margin of 5%. Let's give it a padding, but not 10 pesos. Then let's give it a background color. Background, let's say um, let's use RGB 245 245 242 and another 242 to have this color. Okay, so let's see this. Okay, so let's start our first service. So you see service 1, service 1. Okay, you say height, go to 350 pesos, width 350 pesos, and let's give it background of white. Okay, so let's give it a margin left, that will give some space at the left side of the service, that's service 1. So you see margin left 5%, and let's float it to the left. Okay, let's save it. Let's refresh our browser, and we are having this. Okay, let's work on it. So after that, let's create our service 2, that is the second service. So let's just copy this service 1, copy it, we paste, that's our service 2. So this will be our service 2. So let's change the image to web design. So let's change this graphic design thing to web design. Okay, let's save it. Let's refresh our browser, and you can see we are having something like this. Don't worry, we'll work on it. Okay, so let's create our third service. I want to show you something, that's why I've just allow it to be this way, so you know the reason why it is appearing this way. So let's get back to our index.html. Let's create our third service. So let's just copy and paste the first service. Let's change it to our service 3. Let's change the image to SEO. Okay, let's save it. Let's get back to our ID. Let's get back to our browser, sorry, and you can see we are having something like this. Oh, okay, don't worry, we'll work on it. So let's go to our CSS, and let's just copy the service 1 as we did in the HTML tag, index.html. So let's paste it again. So let's change this to our service 2. Okay, to have the same properties. So let's change this one to our service 3. Okay, so let's give our service 2 a margin of, instead of margin left, let's say margin. We give the first service a margin left, that's because it's the first service. So that one, like, we wanted to give it we wanted to keep some space at the left of the first service, but for the second service, you give it a space and it will take some part of the first service, and the third one it will be in the middle, so the space will be around the second service, and it will be like the third service is also having the same space around it. That's why we are giving the second service, instead of margin left, we are giving it a margin. Okay, so let's say margin 2 pixels. We float that one to the left too. So let's get to our service 3. That one to give it margin, not margin left. Margin of 2 pixels. Okay, so let's refresh our browser. So this is what we are still having. This is because we styled the services, but we didn't specify any height and width for the images. So that's why each image is using its default properties, is using its default height and width. That's why we are having different sizes in the images. So let's say, and because we want to give the images the same width, the same height, to create a class for the images. Okay, so you create a class here. Let's get back to our style.css, and let's create a class for the images. So let's say okay, let's say dot service image. So let's say service image. We give it a height of 250 pixels. We give it a width of 220 pixels. Sorry. Let's say margin 10 pixels, and let's give it a border of 3 pixels solid. CC, that's how it look like some silver thematic. Let's save it. Let's get back to our index.html, and let's give our images the class of service image. So you say this image, you give it a class attribute. You say class equal to service image. So let's save it and let's refresh our browser. So you can see the first one, the graphic design, that service, the graphic design service is looking somehow good, because you've applied the class of service image to it, and it's having the width and height of 250 pixels for the height and 250 pixels for the width. So let's give the same thing to our web and SEO optimization. So you just come back here and say class equal to service image. Let's go back to let's give our service 3 to the class of service image. Let's save it and refresh our browser. As you can see, we are having the same thing, the same width, same height. So let's give it a hover effect, and that will be the end of our lecture 2. So let's say, let's get back here and oh, I'm tired. Let's say our services over. Okay, so services over. Let's give the background of RGB. Okay, and let's transform it and say scale. Okay, 1.5. Let's see 1.3. Okay, so let's save it and refresh our browser, and we see the hover that is taking effect. So we gave it, we said when we hover, our text color should be white. So when we hover, we see our text color will change from black to white, and it will scale it to 1.3. That's it will maximize it a bit. Yes, something like that. So that's the transform. So transform it and scale it to 1.3 of its normal size. So you have some kind of okay. So this is the end of our lecture 3. See you next time, and this will be our next lecture. So I'm giving you a challenge. Try to get your hands on this. Try if you can, just do it on yourself. Okay, thank you.